further ado, we are ready to start our panel on smart specialization in biomedicine. I think many of us know everybody on a panel, but nevertheless, I think we will do a round of introduction first. On my left, I will start with Vitalijs Skrivelis. Please say a couple words about you and why you are here on this panel.
Yeah, I am chairman of the board of Latvian Pharma and Chemistry Entrepreneurs Association. But in real life, I am developing and manufacturing drugs for hospitals. Therefore, biomedicine for me is interesting in any way.
Right, well, thank you. Thank you, Vitalijs, and welcome. Please, Osvalds.
Osvalds Pugovics, Latvian Institute of Organic Synthesis. Our institute is the leading drug discovery center in Baltics, so we are directly involved in biomedicine. In the meantime, we are part of the BioMed Farm consortium dealing with new medicines, with new therapies. Even more, biomedicine is for us.
Thank you, Osvalds. Andris, please, your turn.
Yeah, my name is Andris Anspoks. I'm a director of Institute of Solid State Physics, which is a stranger in this company, but not at all, because modern medicine contains a lot of technology, a lot of physics. And I always say, if you want a lot of miracles, don't learn physics.
Right, and you are also, your institute is also an author, or at least has something to do with some of the equipment for detection of the skin cancer, right?
There are many things. It's like we are involved in organ-on-chip technology, uses our microfluidics, and we are developing many sensors which can be used, including CI9, for example, and other cancer agents.
Well, thank you very much. Nikita, your turn.
Yes, my name is Nikita, and as of now, I'm running the Innovation Technology Department in the Investment and Development Agency of Latvia, and one of my core objectives is supporting science commercialization. In addition to that, I've been, in my previous life, I can't say, but I've been a founder of a medtech startup focusing on neurofeedback technology development. So that is my passion as well, not only responsibility, but the passion. But as a side note as well, just looking at the gentlemen and the ladies in this discussion, you know, there is a saying, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So honestly, I know that I'm in a very right room. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Vita.
Hello, my name is Vita Rovite. I am senior researcher at Latvian Biomedical Research and Study Center, that is the largest institute in Latvia for molecular biology, and we're also involved in this BioMed Farm consortium. We host at our institute Latvian National Biobank and Genome Center, where we do a lot of sequencing and genotyping and handling patient data and doing various studies in the field. So I believe we have lots of experience to contribute to this panel. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. Michael, please.
Hello, Michael Akras, and I'm from Sweden here. I'm with Colibri Ventures. I'm a partner. And despite the name Ventures, we're not a VC company. We're an early incubator, and we have labs located in the central of Karolinska Institute. We work very closely with researchers from all Swedish universities. And we set up, they can come to our lab, we set up companies. So we will have some 4 companies in our portfolio and a lot of early startups that we're fostering.
Thank you. Raimonds.
Raimonds Lapins, Deputy State Secretary, Ministry of Economics, responsible for innovation, investment and export.
Well, great. I think we are a great panel here. I myself, my name is AGRITA KIOPA. I'm Vice Rector for Research at Riga Stradiņš University. We are the largest medical university and university of a health system. So our role is both producing knowledge and supplying people to the whole medical system. So I think we're a very well-positioned panel here to discuss some of the issues. And to start, when we speak about the smart specialization and biomedicine and specialization of a country and building on your strengths, which are both in the research side, in the human resource side, in the entrepreneurship side, it sounds easy, but at the same time, it's not. Right? And it's not because it's all about the unknowns and also making choices, which we don't know really whether they will succeed. So, and it's clear that without instruments that allow to make those choices, allow to work, it's not possible. So, what are the let's say at the national level, the instruments that are absolutely necessary to move forward biomedicine in a country? What is it? How can that be moved?
Can I comment?
Yep.
The universities. I think
All right.
the universities are the basis for really getting support and getting out there.
Mm-hmm. Somebody else wants to contribute? Yeah. What are the ingredients?
Yeah, I will talk and then I will be silent other time. I see three things. One is long-term and very, very complicated. It is that our medicine system, local medicine system, would have to be changed from the procedure accounting system to the result, positive result system or approach, where I am as employer much more interested in how quickly, with help of our medicine, we could get back a sick employee back to the work. That's first thing, and it's complicated, really complicated, to change such a big, huge, inert system. Also change the mind of patients, because it's accountability of patients to participate in the cure process, which is not happen very often, here in Latvia at least. The second is that with jealousness, with white jealousness, I am looking to the other countries where they have a lab-type incubators. And Latvia is missing one which is would be capable to provide biotech services to small companies, to startups, and also such facilities where you could test your things, because it's been amazing what I learned yesterday when the speaker said, oh, genome is not enough. You have to, if you would like to match the cancer drug, right cancer drug with right patient, you have to test this drug on this patient cancer cells, which is, it is testing in field, I would say. We are missing such facilities, and it would be good, and it's doable. We have a lot of money will come from European funds and from everything else in the next 5 to 7 years. We can do it. I'm looking to the Ministry of Economics. Yeah.
All right.
And the third thing is, which is short term, but it's absolutely doable. We have such industrial research supporting program called competence centers. In this competence center program participate 8 industries, 8 traditional Latvian industries, approximately 200 enterprises. What we have to do, we have to make easier this program, become more relaxed on interest conflict issue, not mismatch it with corruption, that we could attract 500 enterprises, because then it's make a network, it's make nowadays also in biomedicine, any project is multi-sectorial. You have to talk to IT people, you have to talk to mechanic people, and many things, not only think about molecule. Yeah, that's 3 things which I could say.
All right. Well, those are grand things. If we start with the culture, more comments. Oswald, I see that you are ready.
Yeah, I think everything which was mentioned by Vitalijs, that's right, absolutely right. But that's about the, let me call it environment. Environment of biomedicine, including universities, or more correctly, starting with universities, ending up with patients. That's an environment. And to cure this environment, or maybe to create this environment, we have already developed our biomedicine strategy. And maybe it could sound strange from my side, as I'm more involved in the research part, but still, within the strategy group, where both AGRITA, Raimonds, myself, we are working together, we have identified several actions to be taken to have a well-developed legal environment. And thinking of today's panel, I made some notes. The first thing we find it's missing is a legal framework how to transfer the IP which is created in public sector using public funds, how to transfer this IP to private sector. The next two things are more related to environment, reuse of patient data, that's what Vitalijs briefly mentioned, and biobanking law. Having these two in hand, we should invest more time in dialogues with patient organizations, perhaps, to make easier getting patient consent for personalized medicine treatments. Last not least, there should be kind of priorities or order from the state. We have some state research programs already. Thanks to Ministry of Economics, these state research programs were converted into innovation fund programs. But currently we miss clear and concise regulation. We are still working on this old legal framework, but we need a new one which is flexible, which is adaptable to quickly changing environment, and that would also facilitate the activities of research platforms like Biomed Farm or platform represented by Andris. This would make easier to pick up projects at early stage, early technological readiness level, and to bring them further.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, thank you very much. Pardon? Yeah, sure. Sure, I was turning this direction already.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, obviously, the infrastructure and the talent pool and the educational programs and the educational quality of the education, as mentioned before, are of the top priorities. What I wanted to add is, in my opinion, what has to be in place, and this is actually my job to find extra resources to provide, the deep tech startups, focusing on the entrepreneurial part of it, is the necessity of both financial and non-financial support for, the deep tech entrepreneurs and deep tech startups within the biomedicine, but within the other industries as well, that would support and help them to increase their R&D capacity within a private entity. So not only institutes, not only universities, but I think there has to be, a support and a plan of how to support the deep tech R&D capacity within each and every private entity.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much, Vita. do you have something to add?
Yes, I have. There were also some many good points mentioned already. I'm a researcher, and I have some specific points from a researcher point of view. So we have already the smart specialization strategies that we need to comply for many grant applications, and we are trained to think in the way and frame our projects to comply with it, more or less, yes. But what I see from my personal practice and from my colleagues, that do we really get to the point with we frame the project, but do we really get to the point for this potential real clinical application? And what I see missing there is that is more close link is needed to the clinic, to real clinicians discussing with them these projects, whether this would be applicable, how it could be applicable. So the cultural things that researchers come together more with clinics and think in the way that it would be really applicable in real life. That's one thing. And the second thing, it was already mentioned about these innovations and that we need to increase innovational capacity and so on. And again, from the researcher's point of view, within this smart specialization, we have already been trained to think in potential to be applicable for real medical applications. But we have not really been trained to, as researchers to think or interact largely with real innovation like incubators or other parties that could really get our invention or a project that we are working with to the next level, where it's really like used for specific product development or service development. So we really sort of need to frame thinking of researchers also to think in that sense in developing their projects. So that was the point from my side, yes.
Well, thank you, Andris.
Thank you. That's a nice discussion, and I'm thinking what I can add. But I think one of the points is to look out of the box. Because currently we should rethink the RIS3, the smart specialization strategy setup. Because I heard yesterday you organized your biopharma consortium platform, and I think we actually are a natural part of it. Because of the reason I told you before, it's like there is so much technologies in these things, including the cancer monitoring, including whatever you think about, that we should understand that it's at least is a combination of 3 smart specialization arenas, like this biomedicine, photonics, smart materials and technologies, and ICT. Yeah, so they all 3 can work together. And I think the other thing is that before we move to commercialization, to the products, whatever, we need a free flow of scientific and innovation development cooperation between the organizations, because we do it, but some things really cost money. Some equipment is really costly. The materials are costly. You know, you cannot do it without the proper financing. And for example, our institute's budget, slightly below 90% is project budget. Yeah, so you imagine how this is more or less organized. So if the state would invest in some specialized centers which are located in universities and research institutes and make them thus viable with their capacity for the rest of the society, I think we can use the momentum and create in this country a European importance center of excellence for biomedicine, because we have all prerequisites at the moment here. And nobody else has much more to add, I would say.
Well, that sounds like we have a lot of good proposals. Raimonds, what do you have in your policies coming towards us?
Yes, just one question. Is this recorded?
I hope it is. I'm
It
taking
is.
notes.
But this is really, yes, it's fantastic because the first 15 minutes, what I can say from my point of view, we will take it and this in 15 minutes, there is formalized complete strategy for biomedicine.
Mhm.
And this is why I so much enjoy this format because there is the leaders, they quite precisely define. I don't have anything to add to this one. If we fulfill, and there wasn't, as you hear, there wasn't hundreds of proposals. There's something like 7 activities which just have to be done, and that's it. So what I can say, and this is not joke, we will really take these 15 minutes, put it on paper, because I can imagine it's 1 page. And then we can come back with the same team, involved parties, and put it, what it means from point of view of resources and investments. And what you said, Andris, it's completely right. That's the point. I'm just speechless in a sense. How for, I don't know, and this is from risk-free perspective, I don't think that there is need for global discussion about risk-free spheres because already previously, as you said, it defines only borders of what is allowed and what's not. There is no additional value to this discussion. But in reality, the strategies, names, surnames of persons who will be actually doing. So and that's it. There is enough now.
All right. If I know that it's recorded and you will take notes and turn this one pager into a policy, then I must add that, let's not kill old programs. Let them be. Let's add new programs. And with that...
No. This, and on this we can now start to discuss. It's very important. I'm not, and government will, and me as a representative, we are not about killing, but focus is one of the most important. And that's why this was very nice, because it was 15 minutes, and everybody who was speaking was not speaking just from his own shoes. Yes, strategy requires to choose. It means that you will not have everything. And
Certainly.
that's why this was so fantastic for me, because I do understand how such strategy, which we discussed now, can be implemented. If you will put everything on table, that yes, you will need to cover, I don't know, 70 other programs because it's needed for something else and do everything, then it's not working. So that's why this type of what was mentioned is so.
Okay. Well, I took my notes. I will compare them with your notes, and we'll see what comes out of it. And as Osvalds mentioned, we've been also very involved and participating in LIAA's organized strategic committee on the biomedicine. I think we will continue the work, and hopefully that work resumes. But let me follow up on one of the proposals that was mentioned, and I do not remember who said it. I think probably that was Osvalds, and that was about the intellectual property. A couple of weeks ago, again, thanks to Ministry of Economy and LIAA for organizing, and also Ministry of Education for supporting it. We, a bigger delegation of research institutions and universities and public sector, we went to Boston to MIT to see how they go about the research innovation and how they are building ecosystems. And one of the things that struck me was that they give away their property rights from publicly funded research to their students and faculty members who want to start their businesses. And they themselves say that we are the most generous, probably university in the whole United States in doing that. So how can we get to this point? What's the route? What do we have to do?
Just keep in mind they are private universities. They're completely different
MIT.
structure.
private.
Yes, this is not owned by government of the United States.
But the government commissioned research.
Yes, but university is still, it's procurement in a sense. Government is paying for service. So this is one of, the point is there, and yesterday we have discussion. It means that there is, I will give you a word, but the point is that there's two very important parts. Firstly, short term, clearly, and that is what is going on now. So what you mentioned, yes, there have to be legal framework done specifically for public universities in our case, and it will be done. And it will be done, I'm 100% sure, because otherwise we can't, we have catch ourselves as a government, because we have a program which we can't start from structural funds if we don't resolve the problem of intellectual property. So this is fantastic way how to get something done in public sector to catch ourselves. So, and as I said, it's question of 20 million euros. So it means that whether we'll be fired or we'll resolve problem. So that's quite a guarantee, which I like. But in long term, the management of universities, the structure, how they are managed, ownership, this is in long term only way. Even with legal framework changes, there is no motivation inside, because if you are privately owned university, you are driven by profit. And the commercialization is the biggest profit part for them. And this is personal interest of managers in the university. And they are pushing the scientists in a way that they will get profit out of their research. This is balance, of course, but in case when it's government owned, there is no this owner who is pushing. And that's why the university.
So you are saying that it nails down to the ownership. Okay.
No, it nails down to our own motivations, because the people are taking decisions, not systems. And individual motivations is what are driving anything in this world.
Right. Before you say that we have to privatize universities, probably let's see what Michael has to say.
This is a very interesting topic, and I agree with you. I experienced both systems, and I would say it's a double-edged sword. I went to Stanford when I was a postdoc. You sign off all your rights as a researcher immediately. I filed 3 dockets, 2 patents with Stanford. They own everything. But it's an assembly line. They take care of you. There's an OTL office. Something happens, there's a system for how it's going to happen. In Sweden, we have a law called the professor's privilege, which means the public university employees, public sector, they own all of their patent themselves. So if I'm a researcher at KI, KTH, Stockholm University, it's my responsibility to file the patent. It's my cost. I can get help from Colibri Ventures. I can get help from someone, but I have to take the responsibility. And there's a mixed feeling if this is good or bad. But this is a law that's old. I mean, it's cited and it's clear. So it is your responsibility. And it creates an environment where you have serial entrepreneurs who pick up all new inventions and stuff. I can't say which one is better, but...
Right. So it's possible. Which is great and encouraging. Anybody else wants to reflect on this? Vita, maybe you have something to add from the researcher's perspective.
Not really. I'm not familiar with these systems, but I really see that need that I already expressed, that in cultural level, that researchers, at least in molecular biology, do not think in a way how this could be further commercialized. They don't maybe need to know how it's done exactly, but in developing the projects, there needs at some point be the shift that we are more promoting somehow, or inviting or developing the sense in also molecular biology and biomedicine. And additionally, the one thing I wanted to ask maybe for these 15 minutes that I didn't mention was that maybe also for some specific project types and there could be some very strategic thinking what is needed for sustainability in Latvia and infrastructures. There are many projects already going on where I see positive tendencies. Also, these BioMed Pharma where we are generating resources like genetic data that we are using and will be used for preventive purposes in future in Latvia. And we would really benefit from further investing in such resources in Latvia.
Thank you, Vita. I think we will follow on with the data question, but before Nikita wants to chip in.
Yeah.
And also Osvalds, yes.
Just a short comment.
Osvalds, Nikita was first. Oh, okay, you are older. Age,
Thank you. I am, but that's not my privilege. Yeah, just a very short comment. We can spend years thinking about ideal legal framework. In fact, we did it already 30 years. Perhaps we could take the first steps to get out of the already identified obstacles, and then let's see how the system works. And that is the direction in which currently Ministry of Economics is working. And I think that's the way to go, step by step, make a step, make testing, and make the next step. Otherwise, we'll lose very much time.
Yep. Engineer speaking. So
what was that first step you had in mind with respect to the property rights?
Currently, okay, we are going into details, yeah. But anyway, if there is a patent at the university or research institute, and we want to transfer it to private sector, we have to make public auction, which means I'm disclosing everything which is in it.
And that's wrong.
And moreover, I am disclosing who is interested in getting these rights, which means commercial sector says, okay,
thank you.
I will not participate, thank you.
Yeah. Well, I
And
think
that's already identified, and these are two small sentences to be added to the law of scientific activity. That's it.
Well, thank you, Osvalds. I just wanted somebody to say it out loud so that it's recorded and it's there. Nikita, please.
Yes, just more as a side note, but this week I had a meeting with the OECD group that is actually working specifically and will work for 2 years on helping Latvia to find the obstacles within everything which is related to the IP registration, find the obstacles, find the easiest, fastest solutions, and also provide the ideas on more strategic necessities that have to be in place. But primarily, I just more about the information that the IP strategy that they're gonna work with the patent office will be in place somewhere in the next year. I understand that it's not the exact answer to the questions you proposed, but this is as a side note, FYI.
But I think we all feel the urgency, and we certainly don't want to wait 2 years. We can work with the OECD and with the patent office and patent people and IP people, but parallelly we can go on and work with the legislation, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes,
Raimonds,
exactly.
do you want to add something on it?
A little bit
Okay.
on this one, because you're completely right. Not my point was not that we have to wait another 30 years, and most probably after that we'll figure out that there is need for another changes. So yes, you are completely right. We need to change simple rule that now all institutions have to sell IP on the stage when it's not yet valuable. You're actually giving away all the knowledge, but you don't have possibility to invest it and nurture till the moment when it's really valuable product. And this is what we have to resolve, that it's actually not sold to somebody for €1 that's invested, finalize this product, and then sold for 100 million euros. That's where we are trying to move this legislation now.
Right. Well, let's move to the question that Vita raised about the data and data infrastructure. What data would be needed for successful development of the sector? What do we all know? What's the kind of the things without which we can't move forward? What about the Swedish experience?
Oh, that's a big question.
Yes.
I mean, the data law, we are a regional healthcare in Sweden. So we're struggling with sharing data between the different regions. And the universities create a lot of data. Not necessarily does it belong to the university, but it's kind of stored there because in the meantime, what do we do with all this genomics data? It has to go somewhere. It's unethical to throw it. We have very early screens from when the machines were very expensive and so on. That's all left in records and in storage, but we are struggling with actually solving the question.
Connections.
Yeah. And how now there's been a lot of grants, and we've gotten a lot of grants in Sweden for a national genomics platform, a real data depository where all the genomics data will be put, and it belongs to the healthcare regions. But at the same time, there's a lot of legal constraints, and I'm not an expert in this question, but it's interesting to follow it, how we're trying to streamline it in Sweden.
Can I? Sorry.
Yes, please. Just making sure that you know.
Yes, I will, and I will throw on table what I do understand. Then probably you can try to add additional one. The first step is actually, and it was already mentioned. The first step is actually create value to these data. They don't have value if they are not reusable for anything, as it is now. So the first step is to have acceptance, approval on Parliament on law of secondary data. It will be completely necessary first step. When the value is set, then clearly is a lot of things to do but they are much more technical. So there is money for digitalization and for data cleaning and all the necessary stuff for actually putting this together. Because the value of data, I already see that universities, even without this law, starting to establish entity which is capable then to benefit commercially from this data. So the first step, I think that this is value adding to the data usage. You can do it now, of course, but it's so complicated that the value is nearly zero.
Okay. I see that Andris and then Vita, please.
Yeah, I want to be straightforward because when I thought about infrastructure, I think about research infrastructure as well. So it's about research and technology. What we are missing, I agree to Vitalijs, is a kind of open access biolabs. That's a hardware, actually. It's an open access biolabs where these startups and students, whatever, people with ideas who qualify can do their investigations, developments, and research. And we need to open up a kind of pilot lines. And imagine that microfluidics pilot line is a kind of must in that environment, because this is like you said, that the real cells of the patient should be tested on the drugs. Usually it's done in microfluidics in organ-on-chip setup. So this is one thing where we in Latvia in a couple of years have reached the top notch in a world level. So this we should exploit, as it's said in European language, you know? Yeah, and so this is why I always facilitate this interdisciplinary environment. Yeah, so big data are fine. We are all, you know, so excited about artificial intelligence. No doubt, that's the things. People think how to deal with research data, but the larger added value for the whole economy is in hardware, actually. If we start to produce a hardware, and this is not a multi-billion, like chip production facilities. These facilities cost reasonable money. It's not billions, It's millions when you go in production, which is nothing for investors. So I think this is important thing to create this open access lab environment in research and innovation development. Not to be like Riga Technical University is executing a procurement procedure to procure services from Institute of Solid State Physics. Is it reasonable? We are losing VAT, lot of money, you know, I must provide a commercial price because it's a commercial offer to me, yeah? It's not good, you know, we should have an open environment, and what I need is to cover the costs of running this infrastructure in a sense that I need a support contract on these devices, because otherwise they will break up and I will be the least in the priority list of the provider to change it. And I need to secure few people who run all this. No, yeah, something like that. That was my point when I talk. But big data, everything is there. I believe in it. That's fine. There's so much discussions about that. But this hardware side, open access biolabs and supporting technology infrastructure pilot lines, at least in microfluidics, is a must here.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you.
Can I ask the
Yeah.
question to answer? Sorry.
Well, wait, but
Yeah, but that's a follow-up.
okay,
Excuse
very
me.
short one.
Yes, because in terms of the open labs and the infrastructure, that's something that I hear both from the institutes, from universities, and from the startups. My global question is more about whether the ecosystem can come up with the list of the hardware pieces that have to be in place, or are them very kind of specific to each and every institute and each and every startup? This is just where I feel incompetent, but would love to hear your thoughts on that.
I guess we can. We can.
I think that's more or less doable because these are things we are doing. And what we see is that there is a much more capacity, but the labs are full already.
Vita, please.
Yes, about data, I wanted to comment that currently we have this initiative for creating the framework of genetic data processing on a national level, and hopefully it will reach its goals, and I'm sure it will. But additionally, what I wanted to mention about some clinical data and really like healthcare related data, that in some cases we still don't have international nomenclature in place in Latvia. We have ECD-10 codes and other, but there are still some that are missing that I see that we really need to step on and introduce some international systems to potentially in future to be able to link this data and work together with international consortia. That was one point from my part. And the second point was that we really also need to think in terms of, as we have many clinics and hospitals, and currently we don't have really working this united system where we really could, in terms of research or other aspects like statistics, access whole data. So we have still these data silos that is maybe very functional on its own, but it's not like very easy to have the whole picture from all the institutions. And there also raises these questions about this secondary data use. And I feel that in principle, the secondary data use law is very necessary, but we need to think that it would be functional, and it would function in Latvia in taking into consideration all the aspects that we historically here have. And I think that's the key point, that it should be functional, and then it could benefit very much for sustainability.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, the silos, I think, were mentioned both in Swedish case and in our case. I think it's everywhere. Who is the holder of the data secondary use law, by the way? Raimonds, is that you? Is that the Ministry of...
Ministry of Regional Development, but now we are pushing, because it clearly doesn't matter in this case. It's economical issue. It's even not a so much digital now. It's more of economics. So we are pushing.
Mm. Yeah, I think we all can give our shoulder in getting that law passed. One thing that times and times, I'm not sure whether for 30 years or for how many years have been popping up is public procurement. Where we are with it. And probably I'll ask how it is in Sweden. Is public procurement used for fostering innovations? What's your experience?
It's quite complicated, the public procurement, small companies struggling winning these kind of procurements. But then larger companies can help the smaller companies. But in the university, everything purchased over a certain amount has to be procured. So it is standardized procedure for these larger contracts.
But then there is a question, does KTH procure services from Lund University?
Good question. Not really. I mean, there is this collaboration between the universities, so you don't have to procure between the universities, but then certain services over a certain amount do have to be procured.
And then how about this component of innovation? Does procurement allows for innovation?
It could potentially, but if it's too cumbersome to participate in a procurement, it can be too overwhelming for a small company.
Please. Yeah, please.
I can actually add about Sweden as well. Last week we had a meeting of 35 innovation agencies from all around Europe, and the Vinnova from Sweden. They shared their experience in supporting deep tech development and commercialization of science, and what they put as one of their 4 priorities, I believe. One of them was innovation procurement, that they see that grants are okay, they're nice, but specifically, maybe not the research organizations, but the entrepreneurs, they prefer to get paid for what they did, for selling their product. And at least Vinnova is focusing on that. I'm not sure how does it work, but they see it as one of the top priority, one of the 4 top priorities for deep tech development.
Thank you. Well, I just wonder if anybody ever have seen innovation procurement, or participated, or wrote a procurement subject that required innovation.
In Latvia, there is one. There is one.
Can you tell us?
It is it was one of the large companies owned by government, and in a nutshell, it's not complicated. The point is with innovation procurement, it's not and procurement. There is a lot of debates around. Actually quite similar to the term of what is interest conflict and what's not. But this is just spend time on nothing, because procurement law will be as it is. It's European playground. And it's quite flexible. The application is a problem. The problem is that an innovation procurement, as a ministry, from the new program of innovation motivation, we will pass at least several €100,000. What is needed? Actually, what is burden? It's quite simple. It's sometimes you have to go again down to the why something is not happening. And not happening, again, back to motivation. There is legal department, some worker in each of ministry who is writing the papers. He knows that if he will write as always, he will not get fired. He don't care about result. He cares that he is not fired. And as a result, management up the stairs, they don't understand the agreements. They know that this guy is saying, and he is not in jail, so he's right. He's saying, guys, this is only way. And that's it. The same problem was with greening. There was European level legislation on green procurement, which was not used. And what was done, it government was just contracting several legal consultants which were producing procurement documents, then following up, going through all the necessary steps, including court. And at the end, you have a blueprint how to actually run it and not get to the jail. And this is the same what have to be done with innovation procurement. There is no other cure. None.
So we need to train our lawyers.
It's not training because
So then what is
they
it?
don't want to change because it's risky. What we need with this money, what we will do, we'll procure several. There is already several entities which are ready to procure innovation procurement, like, for example, municipality of Jelgava. They would be ready. They are just afraid and they are not ready to do it by itself. So what we'll do, we'll procure for them legal consultant, legal person who will be writing all the documents. We'll help go through all the procedures, and then you have the how to do
Blueprint.
it. Yes, and then it is much easier to talk with these guys who is sitting in our ministries and saying that it is impossible to procure innovation procurement. So, and that's what I was at the beginning saying. There is no problem with law. We can for hundreds of years discuss that procurement is a problem. Procurement is not a problem because it's like a rain or a law of gravity. It's there. And application have to be done.
Right. Many homeworks. Then more we talk, then more homeworks we gather. Okay, one last kind of topical issue, and we are quite of running out of the time. How about commercialization of science-intensive products? What is probably missing, or what support is needed for that to happen? And I'm looking now to probably this side of the panel.
I can reflect a bit. I think we had a very nice program called Commercialization of Research Results, which actually filled the Death Valley, famous Death Valley. And latest things we really commercialized from our institute all have used this program. Means that without that money, we are not able to do it. So this is one of practical experiences we witnessed. And I hope it will be viable soon yet again. So this is one thing which is important in our business. The pharmaceutical things are a bit different.
Not really. I think these commercialization grants, which were based on European structural funds, they did very good job. We have learned a lot during the implementation of these projects, and this program should be restarted very soon, I hope. Otherwise, we will forget the lessons learned.
Okay. Vitalijs?
Latvian pharma industry at this moment is not interested in commercialization of scientifically valuable products due to that very changing geopolitical and any environment. We survived year 2021 with COVID, which influenced some enterprises positively, some negatively, and then Russian-Ukraine war, because commercialization of innovative products is always a risk. It's always a risk because it's a new thing, is not checked, it's not tested, and you risk. And if you have this risk money, then you can risk. If you do not have risk money, or you have to invest money on increasing your capacities, for example, because markets are growing, our industry penetration to the export markets increasing, you need more products, more distribution channels, more registration, everything take money. Therefore, I am in, let's say, cautious position for next couple of years.
Yeah, we hear that. Anybody else wants to add?
Yes, this is specifically the commercialization of scientifically intensive products and the program that Andris mentioned before. we, with the colleagues from the Ministry of Economics, are pushing and working as much as we can to make it reality at the beginning of 2024. But in addition, what I wanted to add is that from what I see is that what we lack is a number of whether those are the venture capital companies or business angels or the syndicates here in Latvia that understand the investments and are motivated to invest in the deep tech, because those investments and those investors have to be very ready for the risks, and they have to be specialized in deep tech investments. And we have several conversations with the semi-big global accelerators and the venture capital firms that work specifically with deep techs, because those are not, your average VC firm that will invest in the deep tech. Specifically now, when the VC investment winter has come, and the investments all in all within the startups are going down very significantly in the Baltics, in Europe, everywhere, and deep tech struggle even more to attract money. So my job is to attract more VC and more interest.
To bring the spring. Okay, we have 4 last. Did you want to add? No. Yes.
No, not really. You mentioned
Okay.
Vinnova before. It's very important with this innovation agency that we have in Sweden, and through tough times that we're starting to face now, the winter has come. They are even more important. They're launching more programs to make the small startups survive.
All right, now we have our 3 minutes left, and I have one question, and a half a minute answer, please, for everybody. What more is needed from public authorities? You already started very nicely. I don't know, let's start with Vita. You get less to talk between the gentlemen.
Okay, I believe the funding is crucial. As you understand, we need to strengthen our resources and build infrastructure, as I already mentioned. I believe the one thing is funding, and the rest already were mentioned: legal frameworks, policies, and
Okay, what else?
I'll get back to the unpopular topic called research infrastructure. Taking the opportunity that Sweden is here, I will mention the example of SciLife Labs. And this is something what we have to consult with Sweden. How does it work? Because this gives, at least from the, let's say, user's perspective, it gives some flexibility in developing infrastructures, gives flexibility to follow new trends, gives flexibility to develop new directions by scientists themselves, and this infrastructure is open for everyone in this, within this consortium. And this would solve the issue with rebuild, maintenance, and development.
30 seconds are over. So consult with Sweden and do the SciLabs. Yeah, Vitalijs.
If any support program is created in future, then would be good that philosophy is to create us a greenhouse, not like a minefield.
Thank you very much. We take the note. Andris, please.
I like this nice summary from Raimonds, because it's like we said everything. It should be summarized and turned in action plan. And it's like creating this common open access labs when we start to do now. After 2 years, the procurement process will start. In 5 years, we will have an installation. We will lose the momentum. We should think how to do the things very fast.
Michael.
I agree. SciLife Lab is a very good resource that we have. Started in 2010, helps all the universities to really collect their strengths, and almost every researcher is SciLife Lab somehow in Sweden now. Things that we maybe didn't talk so much about, but education and mentorship for young startups to really, that's a key to really teach them how the process is working and adapt it and so on. That's been very helpful for me.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Nikita.
Yes, just adding to what I said before, those are the new support, one for the open labs and the infrastructure, open infrastructure for deep tech development, and then obviously the VCs bring for the deep tech, so bringing the accelerators and money that are ready and knowledgeable how to invest into the scientifically intensive companies.
Okay, and final word, Raymond.
What I can get, it's because there is this goldfish wish which I have, and the biggest problem is quite simple, is that there is a lack of understanding in public sector how it's actually all this is working, how economics is working, and that's why we are spending huge amount of time proving quite the basics.
So you're wishing for economics
I would be glad
program.
that there will be more professional people in public sector who we don't have to return back, that you have to invest before you get profits. And that's why I completely agree that you can't, with talk away need for investment. And loss is yes, nice, but investments, again, they will create profits.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your being here and participating. I hope what we spoke here on the stage gave you good thoughts, good food for thoughts. Please approach anybody of us during the coffee break, and let's continue the discussions. But most importantly, let's do everything we can actually to move the biomed field forward, and let's join the forces on this. Thank you.